Oh my God! It's the Backyardigans, my favorite show. Just kidding, I'm a fat, bald guy in my mid-30s from New Jersey. It'd be disgusting if that was my favorite show. What the hell? A Life Among Lives, the best ever? But a horrible thing happened to me one day while I was watching my program of choice. The greatest of the greats, best possible ever. You see, when you're young, you think you understand the world, but then you grow up and you understand it less. You die alone, toothless, in an unmarked grave. That's my idea of a good time. This episode was titled, The Backyardigans Get Killed. I found it at a yard sale 20 years before the first episode ever aired. I don't watch it, but here it is. The intro is the most disturbing. The Backyardigans are having a pool party, but the penguin is clearly dead. His or her tongue is hanging out of her mouth. She or he has flies buzzing around its head, and there are X's in its eyes. I was shocked. This was not the episode I wanted to know. The moose was crying. His hands were in his face. He was bleeding from his side. I want to be a pirate, he screamed, but he wasn't a pirate. He was just a crying moose. Evidently, the parent's snack was LSD, a drug that causes vivid hallucinations. The parents would all drug their children, and when they went into the backyard, they'd find horrific drug-induced fantasies inside of their minds. I'm not a moose, Tyrone screamed, fell over as the hippo, whatever that purple thing was, a dildo, began to scream. Tyrone slammed his head into the grass, demanding to be human. Pablo's pinwheel hat lay on the floor, covered in blood and ants. Nobody claimed the body, Uniqua screamed. She was holding up a realistic picture of the Backyardigans in puppeteering costumes, staring lifeless, dead, disheveled. Austin the kangaroo refused to eat his snack, so the parents shot him in the head. You just see a gun in the door frame, a loud banging, and he lay there dead. Tasha was screaming, running around the yard with an ice pop before she fell down crying, and her neck looked broken. What shocked me next was the fantasy sequence. They were, I shit you not, human. Tyrone the Moose was a young African-American male playing bocce ball. Little Pablo was an immigrant of presumably Hispanic descent. And young Austin was a transsexual little person with diabetes. All right. What happened next shocked me. I almost ejected the VHS. The animals fell on the floor, and a man with a butcher knife came in and started herding them toward a flaming barbecue pit for what he called the slaughtering of the Backyardigans, or the St. Patrick's Day luncheon. Sherman claimed he wanted to be a pirate in the Spanish Gold era as someone stabbed him and he fell onto the Hart barbecue grill. They were making them into hamburgers. I want to be a hamburger. The hamburger screamed. Pablo's face was mashed like mashed potatoes as his crooked Pablo grin became covered in hot mustard and golden brown sesame seeds. Help me, he screamed. The others were cooked as well, and then some festive music began to play. Festive barbecue music began blasting as the CG barbecue characters screamed under the hot coals. The Clintons walked in. It was unmistakably Bill and Hillary Clinton and Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. They began partying, dancing, preparing sausages, and dancing. Austin started to puke and fell on the floor. Then one of them spoke, though at a low, muffled tone. You're saying the Backyardigans were just in the backyard because they were going to be barbecued, and those vivid hallucinations were from drug-induced psychosis? Well, butter my biscuit. That's the worst thing I've ever heard. A man in a monocle who looked like the Monopoly Man, no, it was probably Mitt Romney. No, it was the Monopoly Man, began to laugh loudly. Their ghosts are now shown. The ghosts of the Backyardigans, trying to get back into what remains of their bodies, moose bones, baby skeletons, discarded taco shells. A futile attempt to get back what can never be returned. Something was burning in the kitchen, and one of the houses burst into flames. The Clintons eat children. I just wanted a show to watch. I just wanted to sit in my backyard and watch the Backyardigans. My whole life was leading up to this moment. One VHS that would make me quit all VHS. One VHS to rule them all. A complete and total loss of what I consider daytime TV programming reality. And then it happened. You might think all of this shit so far was a lot, but then it really happened. The Backyardigans woke up.
That was a fun make-believe scenario,
Pablo exclaimed. They weren't dead, drugged, or eaten. It was an imagination sequence, something they supposedly imagined, and they were all fine. Image, Wormans hissed. What disturbed me was that there was a pentagram clearly sketched on the floor. What looked like skulls? Human skulls drawn highly realistically with lit candles sticking out of holes drilled into the skulls. Why were Masons in this program? The Clintons eat children. What the hell does Freemasonry have to do with anthropomorphized animals eating snacks and playing in the backyard?
I want cookies!
Uniqua exclaimed. Juice is my favorite. Tyrone giggled. I want a seat on the right hand of Lucifer, Pablo chortled. And then they went in to get their snack. Were they joking? What was the joke? They were all laughing and drinking, eating their cookies, partying. Having so much fun in the backyard, those Backyardigans. Then, for no reason whatsoever, they all flew up into the sky and exploded into confetti.